Hello, everybody back in Australia. The topic today is why was Cambodia hit with the worst tariffs than any other country in the world? Obviously, apart from Russia and Iran, and they got hit worse than China. They got hit worse than many other countries. But let's kind of have a little bit of an overview of Trump's tariffs and more specifically why Cambodia was hit hardest. Now, as you guys are aware, I recently went to Cambodia, and they are some of the most racist pieces of shit. They hate white people. They're the worst scumbags I've ever met in my entire life. I gotta say that. Just Cambodians across the board. I rarely, if ever, met one good Cambodian. They just saw the color of my skin, and they saw my face, and they hated me. And so I always question, why was the United States and why were the Western society, why are we supporting such racist scumbag pieces of shit like these Cambodians? Really wondered that. I was like, why are we buying all of their textiles? Why are we helping them? If these people had a genocide and we helped them, they don't get taught that in their schools. But let me explain in most simplistic terms. Cambodia is technically a colony of China, and it probably has the population of Cambodia probably has the lowest IQ of anywhere in the world. Well, definitely the lowest IQ of anywhere in Asia. They're really dumb people, and part of the reason why is because they had a genocide and Pol Pot killed off all the smart people. So the smart genes didn't pass down to the next generation. They were all killed off. Pol Pot was afraid of anybody with a high IQ and killed them off. Killed off all the engineers, killed off all the doctors, killed off the scientists, killed off anybody with any sort of brain cells, and the dummies were left to reproduce. Now, this is why Cambodia relies so heavily on trade with the West. And you look at it, and the United States really does. It has, and same with Australia, same with Britain. We've done so much for the Cambodian people. We've given them so much of every technology that they use was invented by a guy with this face. White guys invented every single technology that the Cambodians rely on today. They'll be out in the dirt without us. And that's not offensive. That's a reality. That's a fact. And all the technologies that they're buying, it was not only invented, but quite often it was bought by countries that stole that technology from the West. You go through everything that the Cambodian people use. We would start with electricity. That's the most basic one. It's invented by a white guy. Air conditioning, fans. They'll be out in the dirt in the 30, 40 degree heat every day without it. It goes through every technology. Cambodians wouldn't be able to watch this video if it wasn't for a white man inventing it and then giving them cheap products. It's like magic. But they're not taught that in the schools because they're a colony of China. And China's colonizing them and hurting them, actually. So the Cambodian people they're just retarded. They're just stupid people. They don't realize that, and they were given an opportunity over the last 6 months to then come to the table and become friends with the West. At least try to become a little bit more friendly. We had so many people reach out to Cambodia over the last 6 months, the last year, and say, look, you want to be friends? Look, we want to be friends with you. We want to trade with you. And even myself, I was reporting on it on this channel. I was explaining how all of their technologies were invented by us. It wasn't invented by China. Everything they use, every single thing. Even their tuk-tuks, they think is an invention of Thailand or Cambodia. It's not. Their tuk-tuks were invented by an Italian guy. And none of that's taught to them. All the motorbikes they use And part of the reason why energy and electricity is so expensive in Cambodia is because they want to be our enemy. And so the government in Cambodia is really hurting their own people by not reaching out the hand of friendship to the West and allowing China to colonize them. They've got a young, dumb population that is uneducated and unaware of what's going on around them. And now, they're now going through de-dollarization. They're now going to expand their own currency, which no doubt after being hit with tariffs could create a lot of inflation in Cambodia and cause a lot of problems for their international trade. They're also allowing China to build a military, they won't admit it, but the port that China's building in Cambodia and the canal, it's for military purposes to threaten Thailand and Vietnam. Now, Vietnam's one that I'm a little bit disappointed with because I think we should be helping Vietnam more than most of those countries in that region. I'm a little bit disappointed that the large tariffs that were put on Vietnam, because Vietnam's actually a really good country, really good people, and the United States should still be quite apologetic for what they did 50 years ago, because the Vietnamese people didn't deserve that, and I think the Vietnamese people need a break. So I think the tariffs that were put on Vietnam recently are frankly disgusting. But the Cambodian people, after the Khmer Rouge went on a genocidal rampage and murdered half of his people, white men built a land bridge to feed the Cambodian starving people. We saved their lives. Millions of lives were saved. And it was headed by a British man that risked his life to open up a land bridge and get food to the Cambodian people. And they're not taught that because the current regime in Cambodia is a bunch of cunts. That's what they are. They're a bunch of cunts. And it's their fault. They've done it. And the real irony here is that the Cambodian government is going to turn around and blame the West for their own stupidity. And the Cambodian people aren't going to know any better. So if you know a Cambodian, please share them this video and just go, look, we've done so much for you. We've helped you out so much. And you just keep spitting in our faces because you're racist and you're pieces of shit. And there comes a point where we just get sick of your shit. We get sick of you, Cambodia. Get sick of all of your bullshit, your racism. And we've done so much for you and you would never acknowledge it. But also, I think the real sad part here is that the current administration in the United States isn't really acknowledging the war crimes that happened in Vietnam. I don't think any tariff should be put on Vietnam at all. I think we should be doing more for Vietnam. But it's partially because Vietnam's doing so well at the moment, and they're soon to be a competitor in so many aspects of the economy moving forward, global trade, and the United States wants to get ahead of that, unfortunately. But Cambodia's been colonized. They don't have an age limit on drinking and smoking, and the companies that pump alcohol and cigarettes into Cambodia are basically owned by Chinese companies. So they're trying to kill off the local Cambodian population. There's only about 18 million people in Cambodia. It's a young demographic. They're all under 35 years old. Almost the entire country's under 35 years old. They're uneducated. They don't know anything. Their main exports are textiles. So they just have a lot of factories making T-shirts and shoes. And the majority of those exports go to the United States. So these tariffs are going to affect the Cambodian people massively. It's going to cause a lot of trouble and a lot of unemployment in Cambodia because of this. But it's their own fault. You can never trust your government. The government is always it's not just me versus the Australian government. It's me versus the Australian government and every other government. It's geopolitics and you versus the government. If you can somehow, and this is what made the United States great in the first place, they had guns. And whenever a president wanted to send them to war, that a president would probably get assassinated in the past. That's what made the United States so rich. It's on a decline now because it's more and more authoritarian, and the American people don't have as much power as they used to. But the Cambodian people, you guys should know better. If you're going to lose your job because exports to the United States are becoming too expensive, they're going to buy less from you, and you spend all this time looking to China and going, I like China. Oh, I hate white people, and mistreating white people, scamming tourists, mistreating us. There's another aspect to this, is that if you have a great power on your doorstep, you need to make friends with other great powers on the other side of the world. Part of the reason why Australia has been so safe and so rich for so long is we don't have a great power on our doorstep, and we haven't from the very beginning, from the founding of Australia until now. We've got China in our neighborhood, but still, China's at the top of Asia, Australia's at the bottom of Asia. We're far away. So if you look at every great power, look at the United States, it's an anomaly that Canada's rich. We can get into that another time. But Cambodia's on the doorstep of a great power, which means that great power is going to dominate your economy. And if you're not careful, it's going to colonize you. And the Cambodian people, because they had a genocide, they have low IQ population, they're dummy dum-dums, they've let themselves be colonized. They've let the government brainwash them with TikToks. You meet the average Cambodian, they're all just swiping on TikTok like retards. They have no idea what's going on around them. And if you ask them, like, where did all this technology come from? They're like, I don't know, magic, aliens. They have no idea. Cambodia is as close to a North Korean hermit kingdom that I've ever seen in my fucking life. The Cambodian people have no idea what's going on around them. And the thing that really makes me angry here is that the Cambodian government is now going to tell them that it's white guys' fault. Oh, it's our fault. No, it's not. There comes a point where you spoiled brats have benefited so much from us. We spit back in your face after you're spitting in our face for so many years. And I think that's what's happened now. And that's why Trump was laughing. Because Cambodia has just been an asshole country for such a long time. And now they're getting involved in geopolitics. Cambodia is the enemy of all white men worldwide. And the only white men that stay in Cambodia are fucking retards, as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, see you guys in the next video.